Hello all and welcome to this special edition of the Green Arrow, a Gameweek 1 team reveal special from Fantasy Football Hub. Adam, how are you feeling as the deadline closes in?
You know what? I was very calm, very relaxed and confident with my team. And then you guys tell me, and all the chat tell me about Perisic and Doherty news. I've been in meetings all day, so I've not seen anything other than about 2 minutes of some guy bursting onto the scene and for Fantasy Football Hub. So yeah.
For those who haven't
Apart from
seen
that,
it, what Adam's talking about, if you haven't seen it, Micah Richards did his team reveal earlier on this channel. So if you haven't seen it, once you finish on this stream, go back and give it a watch. He is absolutely fantastic.
I must admit, I was worried. I thought, is my place on the Green Arrow under threat? And then I saw his team, and I don't think it is. So it should be all right.
Your place is always under threat, Adam. Don't worry, it's always under threat. It's
always a
under
rotation
review.
risk.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Rich, how are you feeling ahead of the deadline?
I'm already feeling a bit shattered and burnt out, to be honest, Fergie. I've been doing a lot of team reviews this week for Hub members, and as well as my own team to worry about. I've got dozens of others that want reviewing. So I've had a very busy day, and I'm sure tomorrow will be equally hectic. But raring to go for this, and keen to get some feedback from you two wonderfully generous chaps on my final team. On my final draft, anyway.
And just for those who aren't aware, as Richard just mentioned, so Rich Clarke himself, the best FPL manager of all time, personally reviews FPL teams in our Ultra membership of Fantasy Football Hub. So if you haven't seen it and you want Rich to take a look at your team and give you a personal advice 3 times a season, go on to fantasyfootballhub.co.uk, look for the Ultra membership. Rich Clarke, right here, is the man who does all the work for you, and I don't envy you, Rich. Anyway,
Moonlights is one of the best darts players as well. So.
He does. Exactly.
I want to take my glasses off now. Completely different.
Before we kick off, we're going to be using our new My Team feature on the Hub, and it is now live and available to use yourself to pick a plan and optimize your FPL team to help you win your mini league. Click on the top link in the description below to get your team rated and optimized. Let's go. Let's stop messing around. Rich, we have got your starting goalkeeper up on screen. Do you want to talk us through who you're going with and why you're going with him?
Yeah, sure. After a lot of deliberation, and this still isn't final, but I've decided to go with Aaron Ramsdale, who's been in my team for about a week and a half now, which is a long time in FPL.
It is.
I like his price at 5. He's not as expensive as some of the premium slots like Edison, etc. And I just feel that Arsenal's fixtures over the first 7 or 8 games are excellent. Ramsdale tends to keep. Last year, he certainly got a lot of bonus points, a decent amount of save points, and also was a really strong performer. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the England goalkeeper slot in the World Cup in November, and I just like him over some of the budget options. I haven't completely ruled out going for the Leicester double up, which I'm sure we'll mention before the end of the pod. But I'm with Ramsdale pretty 90% right now.
Cool. Anything there, Adam? What's your thoughts on Ramsdale?
Wow, I think he started the season well last year, and he was clearly the best goalkeeper in the game, and it sort of tailed off towards the end. So, but I think out of the 5 million options, Arsenal have looked good pre-season. I like the new centre-back partnership. I think they're even more solid with Wright. Who's right? Ian Wright? No, Ben White at right back. So, yeah, I think it's a really good option. I think they struggled without Partey as well last season, and it looks like he's probably going to be okay given all the allegations. So yeah, I would nothing bad to say on like that choice. Well done, Rich.
Okay. Just to say, and we're going to give away a Fantasy Football Hub mug today. So in my team, I've gone for one pretty outlandish pick in my team. It's not Trossard, which was on the video yesterday. So if anyone can guess on the chat who that player is, I will give away a Fantasy Football Hub mug. My reveal is last, but please do put in the chat who you think my outlandish pick is. Adam looks stunned. Adam's like, "Oh, what's this about?"
No, I've got an idea who it is.
Okay,
and
please don't say.
I won't say anything, but I will ruin it and say it's not Keenan Davis either.
It's not Keenan Davis.
Or is it? It could be actually.
Is he 5.5 mil this year?
5.5 mil. Wow, we've
inflated
his price, I believe. It was all of there'd been too much demand for him otherwise.
Okay, Rich, let's have a look at your defence. Do you want to talk us through it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's lots of talk about being big at the back. I think you can probably describe this as massive at the back. Really, to be honest, I've put in probably more funding into this defence than any time over the last 16 years of playing. So, it does worry me a little bit. So I've got the two Liverpool options, Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, also João Cancelo. So the three most expensive defenders in the game are locked in there. And then still retained Reece James. I still think, despite Chelsea's pre-season, that he is, going to be first choice, and they're going to go well, particularly against Everton at the weekend. So I'm liking Reece James just mainly for his attacking potential. And of course, we've got Perisic, who's in there, who I'm no doubt we're all going to talk about. But some worrying team news this afternoon about doubts over his full fitness, and also doubts over who out of the wing backs Conte is going to start at the weekend. So I'm definitely going to have a rethink on this. Couldn't do it before the show, but I'm not sure. It might end up completely changing my formation as a result of this doubt.
I've not seen any of the news, so it was a shock when I've just seen it a few minutes ago, or just seen people talking about it. In what context was it? Because I listened to James from Planet FPL yesterday, and he always says, don't take any notice of Conte. He just says what it's in his best interest for him. Has he genuinely planted a huge seed of doubt, or is it just the case of he's just saying, he's just throwing it out there just to put out that he's got options? Because I'd be shocked if Perisic and Doherty don't start the weekend. I mean, they played the Roma game, didn't they? They looked good.
You want to take this one, Fergie, as a Spurs fan?
Yeah, I haven't got the quote to hand, but it was along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing here, we gave Perisic, we started him in the last game because we need to build his fitness. He's not 100% fit. He's not where he needs to be. I'm paraphrasing, right? That was basically what it was. So it doesn't,
which is quite concerning.
I think that's concerning, and it's also concerning because he may not even make 60 minutes. Even if he starts, he may not make 60. They may drag him off at 55 or 58. So I think there's enough doubt. I personally think there's enough doubt. So, Rich, what's your initial thought on a Perisic replacement?
Yeah, I as I say, I was close anyway to going for a 4-4-2 setup, and I think this might nudge me back that way. I think it's almost like those five guys. I had a bit of a fear of missing out on one of them, and if one of them's dropping off the essential ready, you've got to remember Spurs play Chelsea away next week as well. So if there's doubt over the first fixture, you can afford to wait a couple of weeks on Tottenham. So I think you could go for Doherty, but there's also a little bit of a question mark around him as well. So I think I'll fade Tottenham out of my defence and look for another option, possibly even just going back to Neco Williams or looking at the 5.0 options. So I've been working a lot with Trippier in formations, quite like him as an option. But similarly, you could go for Kyle Walker, double on City. Probably save a little bit of money, because there's a lot of money in that 5-man lineup, and I'd just like to get a little bit of it out of there. That's my initial reaction.
Okay, he's in my team as well, so I'm gonna have to have a bit of a think as well. Let's move on to your midfield, Rich.
Sure. It's quite a skinny midfield as a result of the 5 at the back. So Mo Salah in there, captaining him. Don't think we need to spend too much time on that this evening. And then, thanks to Adam's reassurances earlier in the week, I've got Leon Bailey in the middle of the pitch, starting away at Bournemouth.
Have you seen Gerard's comments on Bailey?
No, has there been some more?
No.
You're trying it again, aren't you?
No. I think his press conference is tomorrow.
I would have had to stick Alva on in then. I
want to have 10 minutes off this evening.
Sorry.
And then I've got Martinelli, who I've wanted the whole time. Think he's great value at $6 million. And I'm starting him over Neto. obviously I can only play a 3-man midfield
Yeah.
this week. So that would be my midfield there. I really like the way Arsenal have played pre-season, and 3 Arsenal players looks a good bet. So Martin,
Did you watch the game the weekend for Arsenal?
the 6-0? No,
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of it.
I shouldn't admit this, but I subscribed to Arsenal TV to watch the game. And so I'm an Arsenal club member as well, regretfully. But Martinelli looked very sharp. I thought Saka did as well, but Martinelli could have.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a real breakout season.
He looks. There's no question for me. He's definitely going to be starting for them. He's. I mean, I didn't realize how quick he is. He's absolutely lightning. So yeah, I think that Arsenal front three, is quite exciting.
Yeah, good. I think there was some slightly sort of negative news about Smith Rowe as well. So that almost boosts Martinelli's stock.
I think they're. If I'm being honest, I think it's a huge difference in what they offer as well. I think because they've got Odegaard in the team. I think having Martinelli getting in behind and his work rate and all of that is just far more attractive to them. So yeah, I don't worry about Smith Rowe at all.
Yeah.
So on to your forward line then, Rich.
All right. Well, this won't take long. He's been in the majority. These two have been the majority of drafts this week and across the game. So got Gabriel Jesus. I think he's owned by something closing in on 75% of the game
crazy.
Now. And that's probably the highest ownership percentage I've ever seen.
It is, and it's justified as well. I think it's his price as well. I think he's he I think this year he's got the potential to be a premium player at a mid price. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
How much does for you guys in particular? I know it's definitely more important, I think, for you than it is for me. How much does ownership play a factor with Gabriel Jesus? So is that because he's 71%? Do you think if he'd have had does that come into your thinking at all? Maybe going against him?
It does a little bit. It's obviously, okay to sort of hide in the peloton a bit, with everybody else, because you're not going to gain very much when he does well. But the downside of not having him, if he does go off as expected in the first few weeks, you've got the whole field stacking up points against you. But it doesn't. I haven't picked him because of ownership. I've picked him because of his price, mainly, and the fact that Arsenal have shown really good form and have brought in some good players. I just fancy them due to their fixtures and the fact that he is going to be the main man. So for 8 million,
he's probably a 10 million pick. I think if they were to price him now, he'd be 10 million. I think, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Is he someone that you would consider with the armband in maybe game weeks 3 and 4?
When they're playing Bournemouth,
Bournemouth away and Fulham at home.
Yeah, possibly,
yeah.
And Kane,
Kane.
No real need to talk about Kane for half an hour, is there?
Well, it's mainly about the 50-50 or the 49-51 with Erling Haaland, really, isn't it? I mean, that's the key decision. I've started to see Haaland coming back into a lot of community teams today, particularly high-profile content creators have started to put Haaland in to, save the transfer worry next week. I think that's a sound play. There's nothing wrong with going Haaland over Kane. I just feel that Kane's form in pre-season and his reliability and past experience in the Premier League gets him a start over Haaland. For me, doesn't mean Haaland's not a good pick. Just haven't got him this week.
Is your thinking early Kane to Haaland for game week 2?
Watch the games first and see. I've got no worries about playing Tottenham players at Chelsea. I think Tottenham could beat Chelsea quite easily. That won't make me take them out. It's more how good does City look? How good does Haaland look? I think West Ham will do all right against City. I think they'll score, and I don't think they'll win by. City will win maybe, but not by much. So it's more of a kind of second audition for Haaland for me, and then see.
Have you seen the odds that FPL Salah posted?
Yeah, he was
top of the score. He's top of the scoring odds. Yeah, I was surprised by that.
But he was third on odds checker. He was he was fourth on odds checker, but he's top of the one that Abdul put. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which surprised me, but it made me more confident. Considering him as an option without giving anything away.
He could still come in before the deadline tomorrow, but I think a lot depends, what will the team news tell us? If we've got loads of doubts all over the place, then that makes that transfer very precious next week.
I hate 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. It's just chaos in it. Let's look at your bench then, Rich, before we move on.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So the bench is fairly template with, I guess the one thing I've got with this setup right now is there's the decent player in the first bench position. It's not bare bones. So Neto's sitting this one out and sitting their first bench. It could quite easily be played. But if I was to stick with this and Perisic wasn't fit, then Neto comes in and he's a decent, attacking player coming off my bench. So he's there at the moment, and he's mainly in as the best of the 5.5 options. And I've got Andreas Pereira as well, who again is could. If I was to swap Perisic out, for instance, tomorrow for Trippier, then Andreas covers for him really nicely in game week 3 and 5 when they play City and Liverpool. So he could even come in, in a couple of weeks' time. So really like him at 4.5. And again, going Villa again with the 4.5 on Cameron Archer, because he's been doing well pre-season and may get some bench minutes. So he's in as the 4.5 choice.
Lovely stuff. And your team at the moment, Rich.
Right.
So I know you sent me this a few hours ago. Your team rating overall with a 5 game week horizon is 99%, and your game week rating is 91. However, we have reduced Perisic's expected minutes down, so that may drop down.
Oh, okay. Well, when I did
it,
it, funnily enough, I don't know what was happening. When I did it said 91%, and I thought, okay, well, I'm not completely relying on the
mins.
tool.
So as we get news through of starters, injuries, wherever else, we adjust the expected bins, and that obviously changes everything. So
okay,
but I've also optimized.
Right,
I've also optimized your team for the first 3 game weeks, which helps give you your overall team rating of 99. So
thank you. All right, that's very reassuring, Fergie.
There you go.
99's not bad, is it?
Perfect stuff.
Excellent, mate.
Don't forget, everyone watching on this stream can use the new My Team feature for yourself to pick a plan and optimize your FPL team. After game week 1, it will also include live rank, and price changes and optimized suggested transfers are coming very, very soon to help you win your mini league. If that is not enough, our brand new app is out this week. The Android one is going out in a matter of hours, and the iOS is out with Apple for approval. They will both be live within a matter of hours, hopefully. It's kind of out of our hands at the moment. It's with them, but the app is absolutely sensational. There's never been a better time to join the hub with 50% off. And to top it all off, we're that confident that after using our features, if you use our features every game week and you don't win your mini league, we will give you your money back. So just use the link, top link in the description below. You will not regret it. Adam, let's kick off with your team, with your goalkeeper.
You ready?
Your starting keeper. I'm ready.
Well, this could change, but at the moment, it's Ederson. Reason being, I'll come on to later when we go through some other picks, but I want to get to benefit from hopefully the Man City clean sheets. I don't think he's the best goalkeeper. Well, I don't think he's the best goalkeeper pick, but it's more about some of the other decisions. I think he will get obviously the points for the City clean sheets. I definitely want some form of City defense, and it's probably only a 5 game week pick, 5-6 game week pick anyway. So I'm not too concerned. So it's currently Ederson. That could change given what I know now about Perisic, though. There's a bit of a knock-on effect, but we'll, I think there's 3 or 4 keepers that I like. So the other ones that I quite like is Ramsdale, which has been talked about. Brilliant on bonus. Obviously, Ederson isn't, but he's more likely to get clean sheets. The other one I quite like is Martinez at Villa, but I might be going to, and I think if we go back 2 seasons ago and with Kamara coming in, Diego Carlos, who's an absolute monster, I think there'll be loads of clean sheets for Villa. So I think Martinez is one that's been completely overlooked. And if I was going 4.5 million, it would be Sanchez. So I might revisit that. But at the moment, Ederson is just about hanging on.
Okay. Just question in the chat about the Hub app. It will replace the existing app on the same link. Ederson in goal for you, Adam. Let's look at your defense, and you haven't gone 5 at the back.
No, I'm not boring.
No,
I'm not boring. Not template. Bit of excitement in my life, all of that. So what I've done, I've gone for Trent, Perisic, Robertson, and James. I've omitted Cancelo. The reason being, is I don't want to go 5 at the back for flexibility reasons. And I've looked at, out of those 5 that have been mentioned, who do I think is best value and most attacking? I want Trent and Robertson because they dominate the stats. So one stat I looked at was points per match last year. I'd expected points per match last year, and I divided it by their new price. And you get a metric where it basically tells you points per match per million, for example.
Yeah.
And Robertson, Trent, and James destroy Cancelo by they come out so much better. And I think from an attacking perspective, I think they're all better than Cancelo. And I think Cancelo's good, but I trust those more from an eye test point of view as well. And the same for Perisic as well. Now that's obviously that could change. So one thing that I am looking at, I think Diaz as a value for money pick is up there with Cancelo. So I think when I did the same thing with Ruben Diaz, he come out above Cancelo. So that could be an option to go for. He'll get the odd goal. He does actually get the odd assist. I think he got 3 last season. So I might go for Ruben Diaz as an option. I think he's City captain as well, isn't he? And then that would mean that I would change my goalkeeper probably to Ramsdale if I did do that. The alternative is I could stick with Ederson and maybe go for another 5.5 million defender or 5 million. And if I was to do that, the one that I really like is Luka Dean. I think he'll get loads of assists this year. I think just for the reasons I mentioned about Martinez as well. So they're the 2 things that I'm thinking of at the moment. If I'm going to move away from Perisic.
I tell you what makes me laugh in the chat. You've got half the chat going, it's all boring, it's all template. And then the other half are going, I can't believe you haven't got Cancelo. It's so funny.
But you can't have everyone. And my view on Cancelo is I think Robertson and Trent and James are better attacking, and I can get clean sheet points from Man City in other areas. I only want 4 at the back as well. I mean, if money was no object, I would have him, and I think he's obviously a great player. But just when you're watching them, I'd be more confident of assists from the first 3 that I mentioned.
I think for me, just last season he just played every game. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If there's a problem in the defense, then Pep just moves him into that position, like on the right hand side, and then brings in someone on the left. So you're just guaranteed an attacking City player for 7 million. I just think it's like, I just don't know.
I tell you what, that number 7 shirt as well. Yeah. I know. Objectively, it sounds ridiculous, but when you see Cancelo walk out on Gameweek 1 with a 7 shirt on his back, and you haven't got him, especially the week after when they play Bournemouth, I think that could be quite a frightening prospect. Maybe it's just me.
I don't get FOMO anymore. I'm not worried about that. I think I think that the goals are going to be hogged by the forward line, and I think De Bruyne will be supplying most of them. I don't think Cancelo. I think he'll do well, but I don't think he'll. I mean, bear in mind when he started last year, he was cheaper. So I just think there's better value for money. That's it.
Okay.
So
let's go on to midfield, Adam.
Yeah. So midfield, we've got Salah. I might have doubted him occasionally, but
I did a draft on Spaces the other night with him out, and I even confirmed it on the FPL site, and then woke up in the morning and was like, what am I doing?
Yeah. You did a Spaces with Mark, didn't you? And I think he's the only one who hasn't gone for Salah, hasn't he, in his draft?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I think I don't think I can't not have Salah. I think he's been so consistent, particularly at the start of the season. He's on pens. He's easy to captain, and I think even with Darwin or Nunes coming in, I think the good thing with Salah, there's equally assist potential. So he's just so reliable. So I will stick with Salah. Of course, I've got Leon Bailey. That's a little bit of a heart overhead pick, if I'm being honest.
You got to have one of them. You got to have one where you're like,
well, exactly. So when I go to the first home game of the season against Everton, when he gets the ball, and bear in mind what he did to Everton last time. I mean, he was absolutely world class last time we played Everton at home, and I think he got a goal and assist in about 10 minutes of football.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's just more of an excitement pick. But I do think, having seen the game against Rennes and United, he looks on fire, and I prefer him to Neto. He's $500,000 cheaper, and I think he's more explosive. He's definitely explosive. He's injury prone, but I don't know if having the full preseason will make a big difference, because he didn't have that last year. So it was always a case of starting the season cold, which I do think is a bit of a thing. When you only have to look at Kane started the season cold last year. Look how he started. So I think that's quite key. Martinelli, absolutely love him. I think he's great. He's exciting. He was getting into some great positions. The goal that Jesus scored, I think, was the first goal against was it Sevilla that they played the weekend? And he he could have had a tap. He just missed the tap in for it, and he was getting into some great positions. So he's taking corners as well. So I think there'll be assists from him. I do like Saka, and the triple up. I don't think I'll start with it, but I do want to. One of the reasons for potentially, hopefully, avoiding Ramsdale is that I want to give him an option to be able to go there, just in case, because they do look great going forwards. And it'd be good to have it against Fulham and Bournemouth as a triple up. I don't think that's probably as good as you're going to get. Okay. And then the 8 million midfielder is Mason Mount. Now, I've not been a huge fan of Mount, but I think with Sterling coming in and sort of he seems relatively nailed and settled and sort of a constant in that team. And he's had a good preseason. And when I look back at the stats, actually offers really good value for money and consistency. So yeah, I think he's just a bit more exciting. So I could go 5-3-2 and go Cancelo, but I'm thinking, you know what? I'll go Mount and cover the City clean sheets.
He's a good choice in the eights. If you're not going Diaz, he's a good choice.
Well, I prefer Robertson, and I think people are writing off Chelsea a little bit too early, and I think I do like having Mount and James. I'm quite happy with.
Yeah. So one question, Ad. I waited for you to finish your mids, but have you considered Coutinho at all? I've seen him mentioned again in the last few days. Is he off your radar at the moment as an option?
Yeah, because I've got Ruben, I've got Leon Bailey. So
yeah,
no,
so you just think that's worth it for 2 million less. Yeah.
Well, I watched the start of the season, but Coutinho was a bit off in pre-season, and there's a lot of the fans, including myself, that want Buendia included in the starting lineup. So for that reason, I think Leon Bailey for 2 million less is the way to go. I don't think it's not even a question. I think he's looked so good in pre-season.
It's not your forward line, Adam.
Wow. Purely because of ownership, I've gone Gabriel Jesus. It's nothing to do with how great he's looked in pre-season or his friendly price now.
63 goals and 79 assists, whatever it is.
He looks good. I think that for me is an absolute no-brainer. He was, I would say, along with Trent, there's been the most nailed person in my team throughout pre-season. As soon as he signed for Arsenal, been that confident in him. Good price. So never any doubts with Gabriel Jesus. And I've gone for Haaland. Reason being, it is pretty much a 50-50 between him and Kane. But I think that the fact he's got Bournemouth in game week 2, and I think loads of people are writing him off against West Ham. I think he'll score versus West Ham. So for me, I would be looking to make the transfer in game week 2. So why not just start with him? And I don't think there'll be much difference between him and Kane. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. He's
just on that with Kane and Haaland, because we're obviously all having the same kind of fight inside. I think what's made me go for Kane is a couple of things. Is that we know Kane is proven, right? It's a really good fixture in game week 1. We know he's fit. We know he's ready. The thing with me with Haaland is if I go with Haaland and don't go for Kane, and then Kane goes off as I expect him to, and Haaland doesn't or not, it could even be, if Haaland is brought off on 60, are you definitely sure he starts next week? And Haaland's injury prone as well. I couldn't think of anything worse than Haaland going off injured in the game you don't really want him for. and then missing the plum game you do want him for, and then having to make a transfer to Kane anyway. So they're just a couple of things in the back of my mind for which I'm going for Kane. But I thoroughly appreciate, notwithstanding those things, why you're going Haaland. I completely understand it.
I just think against Bournemouth, and I think against West Ham to an extent, with De Bruyne, and I mean, he obviously got decent XG versus Liverpool. He's going to get chances, and if he's going to hit the bar from 6 yards, I'm glad he did it last weekend. And then so I'm confident in that decision, and there's not really, I don't really feel any fear with it, because I think most people are captain Salah anyway. So there's no. That takes away a big concern for me.
I'd be surprised if there's a lot of variance between Kane and Haaland this week. You'd be pretty unlucky, whichever side of the coin you fall, to lose out by, say, 10 points. I mean, I think it would be, could be 3 points difference between the two of them.
No, I think that second fixture, that's the thing that gets me, is that second fixture is so good. You've got like a Aguero vibes when he got like 4 versus Newcastle, but I think that for me, it just makes it quite an easy decision. I think that is so much better than the Southampton fixture. And then what is it, Chelsea and West Ham? Not much difference, but City have got a good record at West Ham. So yeah, it's not even a question. I know a lot of people are umming and ahhing between them. I've made my mind up. I think he's the exciting pick as well. So for me,
cool. No, very interesting. That I'll certainly be reconsidering, because actually I'm sort of foreseeing the markets will go into overdrive, possibly before Monday, and suddenly you'll be looking at a 0.2 rise by about Wednesday on him, and there'll just be a panic, won't there, to get on him if he.
Well, there is that as well. So there is exactly that. So put yourself in a position where you don't have to make a transfer on Sunday night, because that that's not ideal, is it really?
No,
so
it's not.
I think if everybody was captaining Kane this weekend and it was that obvious to go for Kane as captain, I'd find it harder to make this decision. But it's just most people will go for Salah, so it takes away my concerns really.
Okay. Just before we move on, got a couple of things to share. Firstly, we've broken our record for concurrent viewers on a Green Arrow live stream. We have just pipped 1,500 people watching at the same time, which is I think our previous record was about 1,300. So many thanks to everyone for coming on and joining us on this. Because of that, let's give away another mug. So if we can get to 500 likes, we're currently on only on 110. Let's get the 500 likes. We'll give away another mug, and this is linked to the second point. So I said at the start of the stream, I've gone for someone a bit outlandish in my team. Another clue, he's not starting for me in Game Week 1, but he will start in Game Week 2. One person in the chat, all the way down for the last 30 minutes, one person has got it right. If someone else can get it right now as well, we'll give away a second mug if we can get to 500 likes. Adam, let's take a look at your bench.
Oh, don't worry about them. They're over got on my bench. Wow, there is an interesting talking point. So I'll just go. We've got Nico Williams. He starts. That's about it. He might get the odd attack in return. I've got Andreas Pereira, who I like. I think he's great value. Again, good, nice one to come into an attack. He's playing for an attacking Fulham side. And I could not have double negative. Don't know if it made sense there. I've got to have Cameron Archer. Absolutely, he's brilliant. If he gets minutes, there'll be goals in the Premier League with him without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, there's a few Villa fans calling for him to start. I think that's a bit premature, but he's brilliant. By far the best 4.5.
Oh, wow, okay, that's interesting.
He's an absolute goal machine. I mean, he got 7 in 20 for Preston last year. He got 4 in 4 for England under 21s in the summer. The games he got 4 goals in the League Cup, including away at Chelsea last season. He scored loads in the Premier League too. He just scores every time. Preston North End fans, where he went on loan, absolutely love him. So he's a bit reminds me a little bit of Jermaine Defoe, but he's an absolute lethal finisher, both footed. I really like the guy, and he's the sort of person with 5 subs as well. he's got more chance of getting game time, particularly if we're maybe drawing and we're losing and Gerrard wants to throw caution to the wind.
Who's your bench keeper?
Wow, this is what I wanted to discuss. I've got Ward. Who starts in goal for Leicester? Because that's who will be my bench keeper. Honestly don't know.
I think so. From what I've heard, Ward will be number one choice, but he hasn't had many preseason minutes, and Everson has had the most minutes. So the kind of rumor mill, just on Twitter and and all over things, is that Everson may start in game week 1, just because Ward isn't fit enough. But I do expect Ward to be the number one. So I would say you've got the right pick there, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But were you tempted by the 8 million Leicester combo?
No, not at all. You'd have to be.
Well, a lot of people are going for it.
Oh, you'd have to be a bit for Wally to do that, I think. I can't believe anybody is going to do that.
Why are you laughing so much, Fergie?
Have you seen the fixtures? Well, have you seen the fixtures first?
I don't think it matters for 8 million.
The fixtures, yeah, but you want to keep
all you want is like 2 or 3 points every week.
You want your keeper to get some points, don't you?
Yeah, but what the extra million plugs into your team? This is the thing, is keepers are not, they're not like massively scoring. Are they? I don't know. I'm sure we'll talk about it in a couple of minutes in depth.
Oh really?
Oh really?
Oh, I haven't stolen your thunder, have I?
No. Just before we move on to the Wally's team, let's...
right. Put my foot in it already.
Just a quick reminder to everyone: if you are based in the UK, and particularly the London area, tomorrow evening, the FF Fest is going on. I'm going, as are a host of people from the FPL community. It's going to be great fun, and I can't wait. You can get your ticket at ff-fest.com, and they are also running an incredible competition. It really is incredible, actually, where one person will win a trip to New York. So one person who attends tomorrow night will win a trip to New York for the very first New York City Fest with the Fest team and the always cheating duo of Josh and Brandon. I mean, what an amazing prize. I got to be fair. Ed was like, we got this amazing prize. I was thinking, bottle of Carver or something. And then he kind of jumped in with that fantastic prize. And 3 nights in a Mark Southerns and Gianni Baptiste sandwich with Ed watching. Who could ask for more?
Good.
Who could ask for more?
That's pretty good.
If you are at a loose end, pop down to Waterloo tomorrow and join us all for an evening of FPL chat and a few beers. We're still
seem to be delaying on your team. I'm desperate to see it.
We're still nowhere near the goalkeeper section. We're still nowhere near the 500 likes. Anyway, let's move on to the Wally's team. And as you can see, I've got Ward in goals, which maybe says so the rest of my team. I would say, again, I was the same as Rich, and you, Adam. I did this team pre-Perisic and Doherty news, so may have to do a bit of a rethink. But what I will do, I will talk about it as if I was going for it, and and my kind of reasoning behind it, and also my rogue pick, which is rogue, but when I show you why, you may go, okay, I get it. So let's have a look. I've gone for the Ward combo with Everson, and it's purely because 8 million, it frees up half a million. I don't really fancy any of the 4.5s. I don't think they're any kind of better than Leicester. I don't expect Leicester to keep a lot of clean sheets. They will keep odd clean sheets, but I expect them to make a few saves, even if he gets like 2 or 3 points every week. To be able to stick that extra million or million and a half into my team, I quite like at the moment. But like I say, this Perisic news may change things come the morning when I've had chance to sleep. FPL Black, Mark is in the chat. FPL Black Box, just thinking about me in the middle of a Mark and Gianni sandwich with Ed looking on. We'll see how that goes. Let's move on to my defense. I'm not going to spend an awful lot of time on this because we talked about most of the players already. But I've currently got Trent, Perisic, Robertson, Cancelo, and James, which is the premium back five in my opinion. I've been on a back five all season. I haven't changed to a back four once. The only thing that may make me change to a back four is if I mess around with this Perisic thing and realize that I can maybe get something else I want. Like, I don't know, maybe I could get, if I went down to Williams, I could potentially get Callum Wilson up front, who I really like, and something like that. So I need to think about that. But as it stands, I think if I were to replace him, I would probably I think my first choice is probably Zinchenko, and then Trippier. The only thing with Trippier, I expect him to have a very good game week 1, but after that the fixtures aren't the best. Whereas Zinchenko, he could go on and on, right? And Zinchenko is also a player I think I'm going to want from game week 2 and 3 onwards, because if he plays, because I read earlier that Tierney I think was in training today. He could even be in line for a start, right? Which means if he does start and Zinchenko moves into midfield,
I don't know why people think he's nailed. I mean, you don't know where he's going to play.
Who's Zinchenko?
He's used to being benched all the time at City, so Arteta knows he can bench him. I'm not sure he's going to play every game.
See, for me, a bigger issue is I think it's better if he plays left back than if he plays in midfield.
I do get that.
Yeah. I don't see. It's almost like imagine he plays where Xhaka plays at the moment. That's as defensive, really, as you can. I mean, to be fair, he's made some decent runs, Xhaka actually has made, but he's not getting loads of attacking returns. I think there's a better Arsenal defender at 5 million.
Gabriel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
When you watch him, I owned him a bit last season.
Boring is that?
So it's not, but hardly anyone owns him.
Just go for Kante in midfield while you're there.
How is Gabriel boring? Gabriel
he scored 5 goals last season.
5 goals.
Fergie.
Every time Arsenal get a set piece. I mean, he nearly scored the weekend. I think it was the last goal where he had the original effort. He both Leicester and Palace struggle set pieces. I think he's an absolute great shout.
Yeah,
he's good on BPS as well. He's just, I think for me, he's the best Arsenal defender by some distance.
Oh, interesting. You haven't mentioned him up until now. I don't think in the previous.
Well, I owned him
but
last
now I'm looking. Maybe I may have a look.
I've always liked him. It's just there's been, I think to be honest, I was looking at, I think I had 3 options around how I worked out my defence and goalkeeper, and he was one of the Arsenal defenders I've been considering. But I prefer him to Zinchenko.
Okay, move on to my midfield, and at the moment, Salah, Bailey, and Martinelli. Salah captain. Nothing to talk about there. There's nothing more really. I can add to what's already been said. I think Martinelli is an incredibly exciting explosive option. Bailey is, a bit of a punt, but I think he's a punt worth taking, especially with the Bournemouth and Everton fixtures at first. Salah captain, just a pick really. I did 10.
Have you and Rich got the same team, except Rich has got a goalkeeper?
Nearly.
And he's got.
Well, okay. Here's a clue. I've spent the extra million elsewhere. Yeah. Okay, my forwards are Kane and Jesus. Again, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this because it's pretty tempting. But I am excited to share now my punt and my reasoning why. So I was on a Spaces the other night with Mark Sullins, who was in the chat. We were up to about 1 a.m. It was a few of us chatting, and I think Rich was listening, wasn't you, Rich? And
I was listening, but I had to go. I actually did go to sleep before the end.
Oh, okay. So I managed to get myself.
I don't know how it finished up
in a kind of rabbit hole of transfers and plans. But there was one plan which, when I woke up in the next morning, I thought, you know what, I like that because this team, okay, it's incredibly template, right? And it is, but I've got a move planned that I think is a very, very exciting move. Which won't come to fruition in game week 1, but will in game week 2. And this move is, firstly, AI Rockman in the chat has guessed right, and AD Tour has guessed right. AD, we haven't got to 500 likes yet. You need to get to 500 likes to get the mug. But both of you guessed my wildcard pick, which is Alvarez of Man City, 6.5 million forward, currently sat on my bench. So my thinking for this, and I was thinking this, if Alvarez was a midfielder at 6.5 from game week 2 onwards, I think people would be looking at him a bit more because I've had Trossard in my team, I've had Neto in my team. And when I look at Neto, Trossard, Rashford, Bruno Gomes, and all the filth in that area, and I look at the potential of having a starting City forward at home to Bournemouth in game week 2, I think, do you know what? I like a bit of that. I really like a bit of that. And what I've done, and this is what the My Team feature. So if you haven't done it yet, get on fantasyfootballhub.co.uk, go on My Team, plug your own team in. But this is what is brilliant about this feature is I can roll forward to game week 2 and see how it looks, which is what I'm doing now. And my game week 2 team is ranked at 86%, which is really good. in game week 2. Obviously, Ward in goals. I can drop Perisic down to the bench, or whoever's in his place. Gives me a back 4. Listen to this for an 11 for game week 2, right? Cancelo home to Bournemouth, Trent and Robertson home to Palace, Reece James home to Spurs, Salah home to Palace, Martinelli home to Leicester, Bailey home to Everton. So every player's home so far. Alvarez home to Bournemouth. I will very likely do Kane to Haaland and captain him. So I will have double Man City attack against Bournemouth and Cancelo. And then Jesus home to Leicester. So I will have, I think that's...
You got a goalkeeper that week?
I have, yeah. I got Ward, thanks. Yeah, I got Ward. And Perisic on the bench. And so that is how my team will look for game week 2. Now, I think that is exciting. I personally think, because even if Alvarez gets 25, 30 minutes off the bench against Bournemouth, who have got like no defence, they will have been run ragged by Haaland, Foden, Grealish, Mahrez, whoever it is. I'm quite happy to have 30 minutes out of Alvarez off the bench for 6.5 million when I compare the other players at that price point. And this is why I'm going for Alvarez, because I was in the midfield area and I can't get excited. I can't get massively excited for Rashford and I'm just like, nah, there's no one really. I can get excited for having a potential starter of Alvarez against Bournemouth in game week 2.
What do you think his percentage is likely is to start there though, Fergie?
I honestly don't know, because we haven't seen the team at game week 1.
Maybe?
Yeah, but even if he doesn't start, Rich, this is my point. He's definitely come on. And even if he doesn't come on, I've got Perisic and Andreas on the bench, but I think he's worth a punt. I really do. I'm just going to flip. I'm just going to flip to game week 3 just to show you kind of how the team looks. And again, it's pretty good. 84% rating as well. And this is with only making the transfer of Kane to Haaland. So it'd be a 5-3-2 in game week 3, 84% rating. So that's my plan. That is my plan, and that is with only one transfer in 3 game weeks. Now,
someone's just put in the chat, Fergie didn't mention his keeper when mentioning game week 2.
No, I didn't. Well, it's just
who's he playing? Who are they playing? Leicester in game week 2.
Let's have a look.
Arsenal
away.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be about 6-0 to Arsenal.
You get 4 points in that game. You'll make 22 saves and get a few points in that one. But this, so I'll just harp back to Perisic, right? So I can do Perisic down to Nico Williams potentially, say, and then bring in Mendy or Ramsdale or something. So this is
we could bring in Wilson for Alvarez and then have 500,000 left for that Kane to Haaland transfer.
I can do that. I don't really fancy Wilson for game week 2 onwards. I'm saying that though. I don't know. This is what I'm thinking at this exact moment in time. But obviously, there's still 24 hours, right? It's who knows? But I love the flexibility that I've got in this team of being able to pick that kind of player. Someone like Wilson or Alvarez really excites me. Really, as well as I've got all the bases covered. I've got a premium defense. I've got all the heavy hitters. I've got all the low punts. The only player I hasn't got really is Neto. That's the only player I haven't got, and I can potentially replace Neto with Alvarez or Callum Wilson. I mean, I really like the sound of that. I'm very, very excited, as you can probably tell. It's the first time in a long time where I'm really excited about my team, and you know what? I really enjoy this because even if that flop fails, I'll still have an average score, which I'm fine with because I'll be going up against Neto and Rashford and all those other mugs. So happy with that.
I do like the Alvarez pick. So Villa nearly signed him. I've come fairly close a couple of seasons ago. And I'm sure they're regretting it now, but he's brilliant. I mean, he played a lot. I know he was originally a right winger or a wide forward, but he's played a lot down the centre and played mainly down the centre for River Plate. I think there was one game towards the end of the season where he got like 6 goals in a match. Absolutely. I think he's been overlooked, and I think he'll do well at City. So, yeah, I like the pick. I do think it's a lottery as to whether he starts. That's the only thing that I would say, because I completely
agree.
Yeah.
I don't even mind him not start. I'd prefer him to start, but he's the kind of player he's gonna get a minimum of 20 minutes, if not 25, especially at the start of the season when he's giving players 60, 70 minutes. I quite fancy 20 minutes against that Bournemouth defence. I really do.
Is he a mid or a forward?
He's a forward.
Okay, so then you've got your 6.5 million in a ready to just go on to another form horse anyway, as one emerges, right? Because there always one emerges in the first few weeks. So, yeah, it's all right.
I'm happy. Are you guys happy with your teams? Aside from the Perisic thing, are you guys kind of reasonably happy?
Yeah, well, the Perisic is a bit of a curveball, but yeah, I'm apart from that, yeah, fairly content.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna have a rejig with the Perisic money. So I'm in for a I don't know, evening on the sofa with a laptop.
Okay.
Yeah, I must admit, I do like the Alvarez shout.
Come on,
Almiron
and Alvarez to smash game week.
I think going Haaland. I don't want to treble up on City too early on because I think I'm tempted by. I mean, I've got Mounts. Foden looked very sharp the weekend.
Foden's the one. If you've got Haaland in already and you can make that switch to Foden and have a triple up on City for week 2, that's a nice move. But then you've got to have an 8, haven't you? You've got to have an 8 in position in the midfield to do that, and I don't have that right now, so I may go that way.
It's all right. Fergie will have a player on the bench, so he'll be fine.
And no keeper.
No keeper, yeah.
AI Rockman in the chat and Editor, drop me a DM at FFH_Fergie. You have both won Fantasy Football Hub mugs for picking out Alvarez. Well done. JD Cochran says Adam is trapping you, Fergie. He wants me to pick Alvarez because he thinks he's a bad pick. No, I do think Alvarez.
I really like Alvarez.
And like I say, I'd even go to Wilson. I really fancy Wilson. I can go Perisic to Williams. Oh, that's do
you know what? The more I think about it, I might be converted to the Ward Everson pick, because if Kasper Schmeichel come in at 4 million, you'd be all over it, wouldn't you?
Of course you would. This is what I don't get. It doesn't matter who's in goal. It's the fact they're both 4 million start, and one of them will start. And let's be fair, Leicester are not kind of relegation candidates, right? They will keep one clean sheet in 3 or 4. But what that puts further up field, I find really exciting. So, anyway.
Yeah. No, exactly. You got further up the field, you got players who'll be sitting on the bench.
You will like Alvarez. You will. That is it from us for this week. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined in the chat. Those who will watch it back, I'll put this out as a podcast as well. Your support, as always, is very, very much appreciated. Just a reminder, our new My Team feature is now live to use yourself to pick, plan, optimize your FPL. If you haven't done it already, click on the top link. Go on My Team. Promise you will absolutely love it. It's the best FPL tool ever built. It is absolutely fantastic. And it will also include live rank, price changes, and optimized suggested transfers in the coming weeks. Every tool you use, everyone you use now everywhere else, all in one tool on a beautiful UI on our brand new app, which is coming out within hours. Get on it. There's never been a better time to join the hub for 50% off. And also, we're that confident that if you use My Team every week and you don't win your mini league, we will give you your money back. Use the top link in the description. Adam, thank you so much for joining me. You have an engagement this evening, but really, really appreciate you taking the time.
No worries.
And Rich, thank you as always. Fantastic insight, guys. Really, really enjoyed that session. Thank you in the chat. We broke 1,800 live watchers, which for us is absolutely insane. If you haven't seen, Micah Richards did his team reveal earlier with our YouTube host John Ellis. Go back and give that a watch. We've also got FPL Sellers. We've also got Riches. We've got FPL Matthews, and don't forget that Riches.
Did you have Todd Cantwell on as well?
We had Todd Cantwell on yesterday.
There you go.
Well.
Yeah.
There you go. And don't forget, Rich's finalised team review will be on fantasyfootballhub.co.uk for members. 50% off. It will be on tomorrow, as will mine. That's it, chaps. We will be back next and every Thursday evening at 5:30 p.m. We'll be back next Thursday previewing Game Week 2. Have a great Game Week 1. Happy tinkering. Get Almiron for Game Week 1. Get Alvarez for Game Week 2. May all your arrows be green. Goodbye for now.
Good luck, everyone.